When 2009 finally came to an end, it was met with a sigh of relief from many in the private equity industry. But was it really as bad as market sentiment suggested? Joining me again today is Emmanuel Eftimiou, our head of research, who oversees the work on the European Buyout Review, which is Unquote's annual yearbook. And Emmanuel, thank you very much for joining us.
Hi, Rike.
And 2008 was the year of the big drama in private equity. Was 2009 as bad?
Well, I remember giving a presentation last year about 2008 buyout activity, where I said that private equity has fallen off the cliff. Now, to continue that analogy, in 2009, we have hit rock bottom. 249 deals were done in 2009, worth 23.2 billion, which is a drop in value terms by 67% from the 2008 figures. Now, if you look from where we've come from the peak, that is down 88% in terms of value from the peak in 2007.
And just to clarify for our viewers, how does Unquote define a buyout?
Sure. At Unquote, we define buyouts as acquisitions that were done via a new code structure, so a new holding structure. At the same time, institutional private equity has to be involved, or a mezzanine investor. We do not count deals that were solely funded by debt or by angel investors into that category.
Going back to the stats, obviously we saw an overall fall in activity, but breaking it down by regions, did you see any differences?
Well, overall, the regions have fallen pretty much in line with the overall drop that we've recorded. We've had the UK dropping to 77 deals, which were worth 6.7 billion euros. Now, to give you a perspective, in 2007, 6.7 billion is almost a tenth of that value in 2007 when we recorded deals like Alliance Boots or AA Saga. In France, similarly, in France we've seen a more significant drop in activity to about 48 deals, that is, which is a fifth actually of the stats that we recorded in 2007 again. So significant drops from the peak. Now in Germany, we've recorded 34 transactions, which were worth about 4.7 billion euros. Now that drop is slightly less in terms of value compared to the other big markets, but I have to say that out of that 4.7 billion, 2.3 came actually from one sole deal, which is the Springer Science and Business Media deal.
And what about my region, the Nordic market?
Well, in the Nordic market, Sweden, which is the largest private equity market in your region, has actually seen a more modest decline in volume to about 20 deals, which is actually only a third down from 2008 figures, while at the same time, overall value has actually increased by almost 50%, according to the stats, to about 3.2 billion. However, I have to say, 2 billion of that is just down to the Skype transaction.
And obviously, the debt markets and the lack of readily available debt meant that the deals that were actually completed were slightly smaller in size.
Yes, we've certainly seen a move down the value spectrum there. I mean, the small and mid-cap market has always been the rock of private equity activity in Europe. In 2007, even 47% of the buyouts were done in the below 50 million enterprise valuations spectrum space. Now that has increased in 2008. We saw more deals being done at that end of the market. So 57% actually in 2008 were done below 50 million, while that has increased another 10% now. In 2009, 67% of all buyout transactions were done or were valued below 50 million euros. Now, at the same time, the top end of the market has seen a strong decline. In 2009, only 8 buyout transactions were valued above 500 million euros.
So with the drop in values, the drop in volume, you're painting a pretty grim picture of private equity activity in 2009. Would it be too far-fetched to ask you to leave us on a positive note?
I'll give you my best shot. 7 of the 8 buyout transactions, let's start there. 7 of the 8 large buyout transactions last year were done in the second half of 2009, which should indicate that the debt markets are thawing up and leverage is more readily available than it was before. Actually, the 4 largest buyouts were all done in the second half of 2009. At the same time, activity has actually increased towards the end of the year. 30% of the buyouts were done in Q4 of last year. So if this momentum can carry over into 2010, well, then we will see an uptick in activity in 2010 as well. However, the economic environment remains key. Poor trading visibility has hampered deal flow in the past. So if that improves, then certainly deal flow will see an increase as well. Private equity funds still sit on a large amount of dry powder, so they're certainly ready to do deals when economic environment improves.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. The European Buyout Review will be published at the beginning of March, but already now you can pre-order it. For details on that, you can go to our website, unquote.com. Also, if you have any questions about the stats or if you require additional information, you can contact Emmanuel and his team. His details are also available on our website. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Rika Eko from Unquote.